Okay, welcome back to my channel. So we're here today, you all know, to review the last episode of Ready to Love Potomac.
/ Ready to Love DC / DMV. Ready to Love DC Part 2 or Ready to Love DC DMV.
Whatever, y'all know what I'm talking about. Like the video and subscribe. Let's go. Okay, so first of all, I want to say that if you have not subscribed to Relationship Entertainment Television, please go subscribe to RETV. Your girl got a show on there on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. every week. And just so y'all know a little bit about Relationship Entertainment Television, it's a Black network. They have sports. They have business education. They have a ton of videos with a whole bunch of different entrepreneurs. They have your girl. So here's the lineup. These are the shows that are over there. There's something all throughout the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So check it out. I guarantee it's something that you'll be interested in watching. You have to go subscribe to Relationship Entertainment Television because you want to know when more bomb content is low. You know what? I'm not even going to say that word because I just got out of trouble on Facebook because somebody posted a picture of something their neighbor did when it snowed. And I'm guessing that, they removed the picture, so I don't even know what the picture was. All I know was I said bomb neighbors and I did the little high five hands. I didn't even realize that I was restricted on Facebook until I kept getting this notification when I would look at people live on Facebook that would be like, you can't go live right now. And I'd be like, well, shit, I wasn't trying to go live. I was just looking at this person's live. I was thinking, well, damn, I must keep pressing the wrong button when I come in here to these lives because this message keep coming up. But I never really wondered why until I logged on one day and I saw the red see restrictions or something like that, or restrictions. It was something that said restrictions and it was red, but I had never noticed it before. And so I clicked on it. It was telling me a countdown of when I could when my posts wouldn't be suppressed anymore and all that. I didn't even know I was in trouble on Facebook. Anyway, I was just trying to shout out some bomb neighbors that shoveled their neighbor's walkway. I think that's what I posted. I just can't remember the picture, but come on, Facebook. So anyway, I done said the word a whole bunch of times now, so I guess it really don't matter right now. But just in case YouTube's watching, I don't mean any harm. That's a word that we here in DC sometimes use as good. It's a really good thing. It's lit. Okay. Anyway, now we can get into this recap. Okay, so let me look at my notes because a couple of things happened since the show aired on Friday. And so we're going to discuss the things that stood out to me. So they're starting the curveballs early, and they're doing blind dates. How tall is Nephew Tommy? I feel like I'm going to look it up now. Hold on, let me look it up right now. Let me see, how tall? And then the people who have met Nephew Tommy can drop in my comments below and tell me if what I'm about to pull up on the internet was right. Let me see. I don't know why I imagine him being 6 feet. What's 1.82 meters? Why would they put it like that? That's ridiculous. Okay, that's not what I'm supposed to be looking up. See, this is why. What is 1.82 meters? If y'all knew that off the top of your head, whatever. Okay, so it says that he's 5'9", so 5'9", 5'10". Is that right? That was just something that I wondered while I was watching, obviously, since I wrote it in my notes. But so this episode has a lot of moving parts. I noticed right off the bat that last season wasn't like this one because they are using way more of the footage that they have in this season because these first 2 episodes have been packed with the get-togethers and them doing stuff and things. So because one of the major complaints from last year is that we didn't even get to see a lot of their dates. Like some of the people who went on dates, they didn't even show them going on dates. So out here, us that are reviewing it and recapping, we can only comment on what we see. So it has to be frustrating for the cast to, like, first of all, see this footage for the first time with us to see how it was put together. And then for a story to not be told or context to not be given behind whatever they showed and put together. You know what I mean? It's probably like a weird feeling for them to do that or whatever. So anyway, here on this channel, I'm going to talk my shit. I'm going to review what I see. But it is in no way intended to be harmful or anything like that. It's all in love. Just wanted to say that and put that disclaimer out there because I did watch a couple of the IG lives and, you know, we don't know these people. We're just commenting on it. So we got to also keep in mind that they are human too. So don't say the worst thing that you could say. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. I just wanted to get that out. So it came on out. But anyway, back to the review. We got to see the 2 blind dates. We got to see a couple of group dates and everything. So I feel like because I feel like I like them starting with 7 and 7. I like that it's less people there because that means that they were able to focus more on the people that were there and what they were doing and what was going on. And there's less people to have to like get to know. So yeah, I like the 7 starting with 7 and 7. So it's lots of sexual energy off the TOP. Last season I felt like people were hunching. This season I know it because it's just too much sexual energy for something not to go down. Like all of them are like, I could see a bunch of different hookups. I could actually see a couple of people from last season mixed in with this cast. Like I don't know, like how would Sabrina have done if we took her out of the last season and put her in with these people? Like I feel like the guys, I feel like there would have been more of a selection of guys for her to choose from. And were there any guys that I feel like should have been in this group? Or could have could have made it in this group? I wouldn't even put Walter with this group. I think Sabrina would have done good with this group. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. That was just something that crossed my mind because I was looking at the dudes and looking at the women, and she would have probably fit right in. So there's a brunch that's happening, and Clifton and Joy are sitting together eating, and they show people eating. And so Tiffany, there was a moment where Tiffany was sitting beside Clifton and he spoke and she kind of had a little attitude about it, and he was just like, I was speaking because you right here. It's courteous to speak to somebody if you're close enough and they make eye contact. That's how I look at it. So I feel what he was saying. And Tiffany seemed like she had a little attitude or whatever. But then she says that she knows exactly who she wants, and so she goes to sit with Wiley. And so her and Wiley were talking, and then Dakia comes to sit over there with them, and Tiffany was blown. Demetrius was over there too. Dakia called out Wiley about, him being Chuck Brown's son or whatever. And he was, trying to avoid that because he don't like to lead with that. But he was like, do I look like it? Like, oh man, how in the world she, done figure this out or whatever. Then Tommy comes in and Tommy tells them that they're about to test the quality of these connections. Because now we don't know how much time passed in between the initial mixer and this event that they're at. But whatever connections they had up until that point, they're about to be tested because they're doing blind dates. Then he says that he's going to pick somebody, a male and a female, to go on these blind dates first, and then everybody else will meet him later. So he picks Laverne and Ace. So Laverne meets up with Carmen. So Carmen is the new lady that they're adding, and she meets up with Laverne. And so immediately they have like this touchy-feely conversation. Laverne then turned around and put his butt in the lady's face so she could squeeze the cheeks. Like, that was a hell of a first blind date. You know what I'm saying? But I think that overall they both were able to feel comfortable with each other, and they might have a future connection. So then you got Ace, who met with Cornelius, who they call him Cousin Cornbread. When I first saw Cornelius, I was just like, okay, we have another Cornelius. Let me see what this Cornelius is about. He got a big teddy bear vibe. He got a deep voice. And so he sits down, he talks to Ace. And I think that they had a good, like, introduction. I don't know if it'll be a connection, but I think that it was like a good, Ace was a good person to send out there anyway, because anybody they would have sent would have felt comfortable, you know, coming into the process if that was their first date. And so they talked and everything, and they did kind of connect on mental health and how important mental health is. And they exchanged numbers and stuff like that. So we got Cousin Cornbread, and he wants some corn muffins. Like, little corn muffins, like kids. So, yeah. It looks like he's going to rotate, sending people out on dates. So we'll get to see who goes out next on the blind dates. But Clifton did act like he was a little bit jealous that Ace was about to go on this blind date, and he hadn't got to go on a date with Ace yet. So that was funny. He didn't get to drop his charm. Now, I like Clifton. Y'all know I like Clifton, but I feel like I'm about to start seeing Clifton be like, it's just, I feel like I'm about to see some things from Clifton, but we're going to see, we're going to let it play out, because one of the things that I do when I'm watching shows like this is I realize that all of this already happened. You know what I'm saying? And somebody has collected all of the film that they had, and they've pieced together this story. Now, I say all that to say, it's a reason why you would put a clip of somebody saying something. It's a reason why you would point out this certain thing as you're presenting this to us, right? And so there's something that I felt like I noticed later on in the episode that I'm like, oh, y'all not about to start doing this right now. Like, I'll explain in a minute. I really liked Ace this episode. I'm feeling her energy. I feel like she kind of reminds me of how Liz's demeanor was, as far as, like, you know, how she carries herself or whatever. But Ace seems really cool, really cool. I liked her this episode. So the dudes got the power this week, and so a lady has to go home. So they was all sitting at a table or whatever. I can't remember what event this was, but it was like Clifton, it was Laverne, and it was Ace. And Laverne called her Peace, Love, Oprah, Beyonce, Michelle. Like, what? Where was their connection that we haven't seen? That like, what made him like what made him start looking at her like that, just off the break like that? But it's just like, I feel like Laverne likes everybody though. He really likes Carmen, you know what I'm saying? We don't know how far along in the process this is, so I just want to know, like, when it happened or whatever, like when it started. Nothing wrong with that, but he's really serious about this, because he talks about how great she is more than once. There was a part where Tiffany and Wiley were talking, and they were talking about body parts. She was like, that part was exposed, and they were using the word blessed, and he was looking at her butt. Okay, they're real sexually charged this season, and I guess it's because everybody just been in the house from the panoramic situation. And like Demetrius and Dakia are talking, and she says that he has BDE, and y'all know what that is, big energy, right? But like, when you talk like that to a dude, like, you know what it does, right? Like, you know what it does. And so they ready. So Joy and Paul went out, and it was a nice date, and she said he was a nice guy, but she was thinking about Clifton. Paul has, like, y'all know, I think Paul is Cat Daddy Paul. You know what I'm saying? Paul is like, you know what I'm saying, the smooth older gentleman or whatever. And he gives me player vibes. And that's cool. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? He might be a reformed player or whatever. But I think that Paul is a cool dude. I think that when Tiffany was not trying to answer his questions and stuff like that, the whole episode or whatever, I feel like she was just thinking in the mind of how she goes about her regular day-to-day dating life, right? Like, I don't want you to be asking me these questions like this. I just want to talk or whatever. But in this situation, it's different because it's an unorthodox situation. You got a little bit of time. You don't know whose day it might be to go home. And so in that instance, you're going to fast track the conversations, I would assume, right? I would think that you would talk about things that you may not necessarily ask on the first date or first time meeting somebody, but you would ask it now because you don't know who's going to go home, who you're going to have stuff in common with or not. So I don't see nothing wrong with anybody's line of questioning because everybody's different. So you may not like the delivery of somebody's questions, but you, in that situation, you kind of got to like resign to the fact that, okay, everybody's going to be asking me questions and everybody just has different ways of asking what they want. Some people do it through smooth conversations and know how to do it like that, and some people don't. And in that situation, you're in one room with 7 other people that you're trying to get to, 7 or 8 other people that you're trying to get to know. So I feel like Tiffany should have just chilled out and went through the man's questions because, you know, you were just in a different situation. So the kid and Clifton meet and they had a little date outside and they talked about stuff and he asked about how she feel about premarital sex and she was like, yes, please. And they had like a good little conversation or whatever. Clifton said that Joy is still the first lady, but he can have some fun with the kid. Now everybody's eating that comment up because they're like, well, hold up. He's trying to say that, what is he trying to say? I don't know, but I think that I think that sometimes you can be attracted to 2 different people, and I think that that's what's going on or whatever. And I mean, yeah, Joy is the first lady, but, you know, we're only in episode 2, so we don't know what can go on, but that is a good connection. Him and the kid, that's the one I see. Him and the kid and him and Joy is going to be, you know, he just going to have to eventually make a choice, you know what I'm saying? There was another scene where they were playing ping pong and it was Paul, Cousin Cornbread, Tiffany and Sabrina, and Tiffany, Sabrina, and Precious was there for a little bit. In that scene, Tiffany and Cornelius were talking and she was asking him if he wanted to be married and he was like he can take it or leave it. Basically the title or whatever, he was saying that the title of soulmate and or partner and wife or husband, whatever, is like interchangeable or whatever to him. And so she was like, well, I want a husband. And so that was like a big thing. Like they talked about it in deliberation or whatever. I don't know whether it was her delivery or what, but I don't think there was anything wrong with her saying what she wanted. Everybody else is saying what they want. So the only thing I think Tiffany did wrong was not answer Paul's questions, even though she thought they were stupid questions. I feel like she just should have answered the questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, let him get to know you, you get to know him, and you realize that's not your cup of tea. Moving on. So then it's another event where Clifton, Joy, Tori, Carmen, and Ace, they go to a driving range, and so they're like playing golf. So the funniest part about this episode was Clifton talking about Carmen's contacts because she had in blue contacts, which I didn't even realize until we got to the part where he was like talking about it or whatever. But he was like, she had the curves and everything, and then he got close to her, and it looked like he was looking into the eyes of baby Jesus. That shit was funny. Carmen even had to laugh at that. So Carmen says she don't like Tori's dreads, so she done already judged the man before even getting to know him. But to each his own. Like I said, everybody else is saying what they like and what they don't like. So Clifton up there trying to hit the golf ball, and he can't hit it. So then they show Clifton up there and Carmen behind him trying to like show him how to hit the ball, but he was too big and thick. But she couldn't get her arms around him. So then they switched places and she was about to hit the ball. And so he did not like try to show her, but she was like, hold my hair because it's real. And that's so funny to me. But anyway, he held her hair and then, you know, he like moved out the way or whatever. I thought that was funny. Joy was watching that whole exchange, or at least they edited it to make it look like she was looking dead at them. So at some point, Ace walks off and Clifton goes to check on her and see if she was doing all right. She was like, her drink, she had said that her drink was low, so she went to go refill it. But I think the numbers was kind of odd, so she may not have been connecting with anybody. But in this situation, I feel like you can't afford to walk away from the group because you need to be constantly trying to make connections. But if you had to step away, you had to step away. So then the other scene that caught my eye was when Clifton was up there and Joy went up to hit, and then he says, you look like you got some anger you trying to let out. Or he was asking her if she had anger to let out, and she was like, no, I'm just trying to connect. And he was like, me too. So they up there laughing and talking, and then they talking in code about how he handled the Carmen situation. It wasn't really in code, but it was in code. You know what I'm saying? Without saying it, they were saying it. Like, he was like, I dodged the curveball, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, I wasn't worried or whatever. And so this is the part that makes me feel some kind of way, because I don't like when they start putting certain statements up that people said, like specifically because in last season when Sabrina and Walter and Moomin and Walter's ex met up, there was a part in there where Sabrina was like, she was about to go, whatever. She wasn't sticking around for the date. And in the cutaway that they put in there, they put, Daddy know where home is. Now, that was a cute saying, and she looked good saying it. But when they did that, I was like, oh, Lord, they're about to play us. You know what I'm saying? Because why would you put her saying that just so you can show that Daddy be tripping? Anyway, so I say that about last season because this is what I feel like this episode. When Clifton and Joy had that conversation in code, but not in code, about how he didn't like take a swing, whatever it is that you want to say. They played Clifton saying, I think it's gonna work because she's not insecure and I'm not insecure or whatever. And it's just like, oh. We can tell by the conversation that y'all was having that y'all wasn't insecure, but now that they played him saying it. Anyway, I just know that none of us knows how this is going to play out, not even them. Like, they know how it played out, but they don't know how the network is going to play the episodes out. So, anyway, we'll see. We'll revisit this later as more episodes come and things unfold. I'm not ashamed to admit when I'm wrong if I'm wrong, but damn, I hope I'm wrong. Okay? Because I like them together. Anyway. But I wouldn't be mad if he got with the kid either. So I like Joy or the kid for Clifton. So we're going to skip to the men's deliberation. So the men get together to talk about who they feeling and who they not feeling. This is the part where Laverne said that Ace is Oprah, Michelle, Beyonce, Jill Scott. I don't know who else he said because I was just like, bro, what happened to make you come to this conclusion? Like, tell us that story. Now, Ace is cool as I don't know what, but I just want to know what has him like this. So a lot of them said Sabrina and Dakia was in their top. Of course, Clifton said Joy. P.O. talking about people want to be thugged out after 9 o'clock. This baby said thugged out. I know that's right. P.O. Oh my God, that's funny. Anyway, we're going to have to see how many connections Paul got because Paul funny. And so when Laverne said that about Ace, Wiley was like, oh, I didn't get none of that. He was looking confused like I don't know what. So Wiley goes out with Ace and Paul goes out with Tiffany. And so, once again, Tiffany is like, I do not feel like answering these questions. You know what I'm saying? And it was unfortunate because Paul was really trying to explain to her, like, you in a different situation. Like basically, open up your mind to the process. Like, don't be like you normally would. Or don't do that. So, nevertheless, she did not like the questions. She didn't want to do it and then he had to tell her, okay, well, we decided that you're not ready to love. And she was like, wait, who's not ready to love? Did I just get sent home? Yes. sis, you got sent home. The competition is a lot tighter with the 7 and 7 and these new connections coming in too. And so then Wiley is on the date with Ace, and Ace just sitting there smiling and looking like peace and love and calm, you know what I'm saying? Like in my Laverne voice. And she's ready for whatever it is that he has to say. So Wiley tells her that they want to see more of what she showed him on that date or whatever, and she gives him a hug, and you know everything is cool. So Ace just so Ace is still there. So when Paul told Tiffany that it was time for her to go, he tried to give her a hug, and she was like, "No, I don't want to." I did feel her on that too, because not for nothing, y'all just sent me home, right? So I don't really want to hug you, but I could be polite, right? But she wasn't polite. She was like, "Where my Uber at?" But then she said that he was just jealous that she didn't pick him. But I was just like, I don't think he made the decision on his own. I think that it had to be more people involved for him to even say anything. So I don't know how that worked though. I mean, can one person make the decision like on the date immediately? Can they change their mind and be like, okay, we was gonna send you home and we changed our mind? Like, I don't know. They'll have to tell us in their interviews. But as far as we're looking at it, I don't think he can make that decision. But what do I know? So it looks like in next week's episode, Clifton that ate something that he's allergic to, and that should look crazy. So clearly he's all right because we done seen him, but that must have been crazy and scary for Joy too. But okay, so my top 3 dudes for this week are Clifton. Y'all already know he gonna be in there. I'm gonna put Cornbread in there because I'm rooting for Cornbread right now, and I'm gonna put Wiley on here with his young ass. I'm gonna put Wiley on here, young Similac. I really kind of started to like Wiley more in this episode too. So my top 3 dudes for this week is Clifton, Cousin Cornbread, and Wiley. My top 3 women are Joy, Dakia, and Precious. Joy, Dakia, and Precious this week. Anyway, so we'll see what happens next week. Get down in the comments below. Tell me what I missed, what I didn't talk about that you wanted to hear me talk about. I just always talk about what stood out to me. Make sure you subscribe to me. Make sure you subscribe to Relationship Entertainment Television. And we out. We're going to see y'all in the next video. Peace.